our heads together. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for your faithfulness. And as we have this weekend to celebrate Memorial Day, we think of those who showed their faithfulness by their actions. And Lord, we want to be that kind of people that do that. But you, Lord, always bring together people and resources and time and finances. And for that, we give you thanks. And we ask you to take charge of the goings on today. We trust that there will be a bright future and hope. And we give thanks for these young ladies that will receive our scholarships and will shine for you in this sometimes crazy world. They'll meet with a lot of different situations. We want you to bless the servers today, Lord, and we thank you for their service. And Lord, in some ways, our President Trump has really honored workers, and that's what we want to be, is worker bees for you, wherever we are. So we just trust you and pray in your name. Amen.
Okay, we'll get that music turned down. Yeah, we're so loud and talking, we didn't hear it. Then you got quiet and moved music. So bear with us there. So Teresa, she'll help us with our pledges. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, so that strategy. We get their order, please. Yeah, we got. Okay. So we're going to approve the minutes that Connie sent out. One correction to the minutes. It's 3:30. I'm going to try to stay longer. So I have a motion to approve the minutes. So I have a second. So Nancy and Deborah. Nancy and Deborah, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed, motion carries. All right, Miss Tricia. Do we have some guests here? Do we have any students here yet? We have a student. Okay, they're gonna sit up here, or they can sit back there. Yeah, she can sit back there. Does she have a guest with her?
Yes.
Okay, we've got 2 for students and 1 over here. We got 3 chairs. Yes, scholarship people there. Okay. Okay. All right. Tricia, I'm gonna let you tell them about any other guests that have come in.
Sherilyn Farr, Wade, what call your name? She's our speaker today. And Brian Jones.
I asked her which one was the better half, and Sharon said she was.
Maria Watkins. BJ Cole. Lisa Stone. Lynn Smith. Wanda Fryer.
Maybe I'll put say the carrot. Or even fruit. So, and leaving time. Apples. Red. We got some technical difficulties, so I'm gonna show you and give you the second class business membership report. We are up to 60 members. We're making pitch right. Our goal is budgeting. So put it together. So we got to get there and some of these kids today will join us. There's new members. Our latest new member is Kitty Gannon, who is my teacher. She's not here, but she's with us in spirit. She is has an antique shop in Gladewater that she runs the roundup. So you got it? All right. And so I do want to introduce to you guys the ladies that actually worked through the 15 applicants that we had. So all those people who are on the scholarship committee, please stand. So we have Sharon Fowler, we have Karen Quindon, we have Jennifer and Teresa and Deborah. Deborah Peels. Teacher, sorry, is that senior moment who's not here today. So we were around with 15, but then when we got into it, it was very easy. Yes. Yeah. We have one more student coming, should be here any minute. But we're going to go ahead and start. And we'll start with Sharon Fowler. And with her student, will you come forward?
Well, it is my pleasure to introduce you all to Carolyn Purdue. When we went through her resume and we also went through her essay, I knew that she was my number one pick. So whenever I presented it to all the people that were looking at the recipients, the candidates, and they were all just very impressed with you. Number one, just your story that you told in your essay, and then your GPA was just amazing. So, I mean, we're looking at a lady here that is going to do great things for our country and in our nation. She's going to Austin to school at UT Austin, but it's also the Moody College of Communication. So she aspires to be in communication and also film. So I told her to look around the room and don't forget us when she makes that mighty good movie that she's going to make. So we are just honored and blessed to give you, because you earned it with your hard work throughout your academic accomplishments. And we know that you'll go on and do great things for yourself and also this world. So you're going to be a world changer. Okay. So no pressure there. So would you like to say anything to the group?
I just want to say thank you for everybody who's, made this possible for me. It means a lot. And I mean, I've only spent about 20 minutes here, but I can tell that y'all are truly, blessed. And this is an organization that, has a lot going for it. And I really appreciate what you. Thank you.
That's
It's Friday, but the wrong newspapers here, so you made it right. Well, Miss Allie, come on down. So, was the person who offered your information to our committee, and oh my God, it's an act of God. Why I got her, and y'all will find out here in a minute. So Allie, she goes, Allison Good, but she goes by Allie. So I tied mine up, okay? So Allie is from White Oak. Let's change it. She's from White Oak High School. Here we go. There she is. So she had a GPA of 3.94, had many honors and dual credit classes. She's actually been on the Scholarship Honor Roll, the National Honor Society, the UIL, the FFA, the Future Farmers of America, winning many awards in vet science, career development, and public relations leadership development. Her volunteering has been in many settings, in nursing homes, in church kid ministries, camps for children affected with child abuse, first responders, Operation Christmas Child. These are gifts that they give to children in third world countries. In the local pregnancy resource center and American Heritage Girl Scouts, to name a few. Is that right? Okay. Her leadership was very much evident in her application. In some examples, these aren't all. As chairman of the Growing Leaders Committee, the Building Communities Committee, and she's the chairperson for that, and the Strengthening Agriculture Committee. She is also active in choir, theater, White Oak dance team, and the White Oak Certified Floral Designer. That thing is a thing in White Oak, isn't it? Many of the students over there do that. But there was a common theme that I saw with the people who wrote letters of recommendation. And they all kind of said the same thing. And this is what they said. She is seen as a self-motivated leader, possesses exceptional emotional intelligence, and strives to make everyone feel included and valued. Her integrity and compassion brings positivity, calm, and organization in team settings. She has a natural ability to connect to children and make them feel safe and ready to learn. Ms. Good is not a normal graduating senior, but an exceptional one and truly deserving. She loves volunteering and children, and guess what? She has chosen to attend UT Tyler to pursue a degree in BSc in nursing. And that was dear to my heart because I retired as a nurse. Fellow nurses, stand up. So our fellow nurses, UT Tyler, big program. I had my master's there. I was the first person in the master's program there, first person to write thesis, but this is all about her, okay? So what nurses do cherish is the nurse's prayer. So I'm presenting that to you today, the nurse's prayer, and all the nurses here today have written something on the back. So take that with you when you go to nurses, it will be tough. It's one of the hardest degrees that you can get. I'm telling you, it really is, but you can do it, okay? And I got one more thing to say.
Wow.
Molly, it gives me great pleasure to award you with the Republican Women in Wright County Scholarship and wish you all the best. I believe you possess the art of caring. And we here today, the retired nurses, all believe that you will represent our profession well. All right, give her a round of applause. We're giving them a couple things. Here's her. Who's going to take a picture? Got to get a picture of Carolyn too. Getting the check. Someone take a picture. She's getting, and I found out that she recently, was yesterday, you got, someone did, they texted me, got quite a few awards also. Yeah, so I think it was hers. Rightly so. So anyway, here's your check for $1,000. Spend it and learn all about nursing and take your teacher. We also are giving each of our recipients a pocket constitution, a mark, and Okay, yes, it is. $100 trial thing. So you come back and join the Republican women. She's ready to vote, by the way. All these people are. Here comes Maya. So here you go. Congratulations. And you did it again. And I want to hear about you when you graduate. We might come to your pinning ceremony, right, nurses? Yeah, because I went to UT Tyler, but that was just for the other thing. My master's, my lower degree was in Louisiana. So anyway, good luck. Pediatrics. Pediatrics. That's what she's going into. You're welcome. Okay.
Congratulations.
And Teresa's here. She looked like a cowgirl. I love it. Come on here.
Okay, now I feel bad because she said keep it to 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And did I have it to 30 seconds? And there's so much more to tell.
No, you didn't work hard for 30 seconds.
I felt that Maya embodies the spirit of East Texas and what East Texas is all about. This girl is all about agriculture. She joined 4-H when she was in the 3rd grade, and she's been learning and then leading. And she carried that knowledge and experience into the FFA, of course. Her agricultural experience includes rabbits, swine, goats, horses, sewing, ag mechanics, master gardening. She's a leader in school, and she serves her community and her church in so many ways. Her commitment to serve veterans breakfast every single month. It's really touched our hearts. She does that with the Elks organization. And there is so much to tell about her. And I was a 4-H girl coming up, and I did all that. She's even a barrel racer. So it really touched, just like Jennifer. Her girl touched her heart. Well, Maya touched my heart too, and I'm really happy to introduce her as one of our scholarship winners. Here is your scholarship money, and we have some questions. No. Oh, she's going to Texas A&M. And her high school is Liberty City, right?
It's in Liberty City, but it's Sabine.
Sabine.
High School.
What school did you graduate from high school?
Sabine.
Wrong picture. Sorry. All righty. Isn't that wonderful? These students are just made us feel good about the next generation, didn't it? Yes, it did. So, needless to say, we have a speaker today, and Teresa's going to introduce her.
Speaker today is Sherilyn Carr. She's resident. Hello. I was in her. She and her husband are residents at Lake of the Pines. She was a lake keeper for Oak Creek Lake, a municipal water source in Coke County in 1998. She's licensed with the State Regulatory Agency over Water, which is the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, or TCEQ, with a Class B surface water, Class C wastewater certification, and multiple classes in groundwater management and water conservation. She retired from with the City of San Angelo Police Department in 2017 and moved to East Texas when her husband retired from the railroad in 2018. Sherilyn has brought along Susan Conway, whose mom is 94, and they're one of the families that will lose their generational land if the Marvin Nichols Reservoir is built. Susan spoke in Austin to the National Resource Committee, and several senators were so moved by her story that they personally talked to her after.
Susan and I kind of tag team you. All of a sudden, is the cook in the family, and he told me years ago. He said, "Mom, know your strengths. Not everybody was born to cook. You were born to talk to somebody that knows how to cook." So I took it to talk. We are here today about something that's extremely important and has been on certainly in a lot of the news clips and certainly in the newspapers, and that's our water. And I do know I'm going to speak a little bit specifically about Longview. I know that Longview, you get your water from like a portion of it from Lake of the Pines and a portion of it from Sabine. And when we first learned of the North Texas Municipal Water District coming in from, and I'm going to use Dallas as a euphemism. They actually control North Dallas and the burgeoning population there. When they made the decision to come into East Texas for water, and we have a number of have prepared a lot of information for you because it is a lot of information. So for anybody that wants it, please, my husband's happy to bring the folder back to you. But it is, when they came in, we really found out by accident when they decided that they wanted to purchase water from Lake of the Pines. And we immediately got on board and we started fighting that. I had actually been fighting against Marvin Nichols as early as 2 years ago, but they were wanting to, they had almost had a deal done, actually purchasing not water, but water rights. And there's a big difference. There is a huge difference. In Texas water, there is what they call first in time, first in right. That means whoever is first to get permitted, they have whatever their water rights are, they have seniority rights, even during times of drought. So actually, Lone Star Steel has the oldest water rights on Lake of the Pines. But when they came in, when Dallas wanted to come in and purchase these water rights, they were proposing to purchase 70,000 acre feet. And we, Longview, you guys have 20,000 acre feet in Lake of the Pines. Marshall has 25,000 acre feet. The 7 cities that have a coalition with Northeast Texas actually have 47,000 acre feet. So had the deal gone through and they purchased the rights, they would have been the largest water right holder in our region. And water is your economic development gold card. And it is going to be more so and more so and more so. When you start to think about how big Dallas is, I want to give you a perspective that there are 68 water bottling companies in Dallas. Wow. 68 that produce water in some fashion and receive at least a portion of their water from the municipal water source. Nestle paid the city of Dallas last year $7.9 million in sales tax. So it's huge. And guess what I'm wanting to say to people today, and your representative said this as well, JD, that the only way we're going to protect our water is we're going to have to legislatively protect it. We're going to have to sell enough of our water, not the roots, but the water, and keep it in our area so it's no longer conducive for anybody outside of our area to come get our water. And that means we need to be the ones to develop to go after the economic development, to go after we had contacted Elon Musk for the microprocessors, the microchip processors, because they require water. It's what we call ultra pure water, which is actually deionized. We have the water. He's wanting to put a plant in south of Dallas. We're going, not south of Dallas, south of Austin. We have water. No, that JB has come forward. He has wanted to really push and form coalition with this area in economic development so that we can really push to bring it here. Now, Susan is in Twickenham. They're coming. They are coming. Don't think that they're not. And what it's going to take is our due diligence to know exactly, because things in this water industry are changing so rapidly. We do know that we just got the Senate Bill 7 passed. Senator Charles Perry is going to be over the water. So there's a number of things that are happening. We had some disappointments this legislative season and didn't get some of the things through that we had hoped to get through. But that does not dampen our resolve. Susan, I'm going to let her speak now because she just got back from Region C in Arlington. And that's the region that's wanting to come after our water. And then she also just got back from our legislative in Austin. And so she can kind of bring you up to date there. And again, everything that you see in these folders, that's why I wanted to get it for you, because we're kind of throwing stuff at you. This is going to answer a lot of questions. We've also given you information on desalinization. We've given you information on desalinization for Blackwater. Corpus Christi is just now finalizing their deal with the desalinization plant. They expect it to pour on the Texas coast. El Paso, pioneer in the state of Texas for water conservation, is just now breaking ground on the desalinization plant for Blackwater. Dallas is sitting on an ocean of Blackwater, an ocean. They have to go after it. We're the low-hanging fruit. That's why we're doing for us. If we ever allowed to put the infrastructure in to come get it, we would never close that Pandora's box. Ever. Susan, comes out.
All right. I'm so thankful I met Shar. I had started a Facebook page. It's called Texas Landowners United.
It should be, yes.
We started a Facebook page called Texas Landowners United and tried to keep everybody on the same page, because we had so many different people trying to do so many different things at one time, so it wasn't very handy, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So I started it, and then I got overwhelmed with messages and texts and saying, okay, well, what about this? And did you know this? And I call it my think tank, because it shows everything. It shows everything Dallas is doing and everything Dallas is not doing. And water conservation, they are not doing. And I'll tell you why. There's no money in it for them. Mm-hmm. It's easier to take from somebody else than to fix their own problem. Mm-hmm. There's no money in conservation for them. So let's take from somebody else. Okay? Marvin Nichols is going to flood 66,000 acres by eminent domain, because I'm not selling. They're going to have to take it from me. After eminent domain is what we call mitigation, and that's federal. So for everything that they flood by federal, they have to make it up somewhere else, because they destroyed an ecosystem. So they got to go lot for lot. So that can be anywhere from 130,000 to 700,000 acres gone. That's just not timber. That's families, that's home, that's ranches. And I saw a student with ag production. There's ag production gone. Less than 2% are farmers and ranchers that are left that are feeding the rest of this nation. And you cannot keep turning land and covering it up with pumps, water, solar farms, windmills, and expect us not to be able to be at the mercy of foreign foods for our food. Because that's coming.
Yeah. And now it's important to know mitigated land does not have to be in this area. They're telling us approximately 3 to 1 is what they're looking at for. And so if they flood 70,000 acres, that's 210,000. If they can, so they could come to Brenton. They could pull any mitigated land out, and it pulls it out of production. I mean, it will change the face of East Texas. It will change the face of East Texas. The timber industry, they will be inundating, and I mean, we're talking about families losing their cemeteries, their personal cemeteries.
Yes, whenever I went to the Natural Resources Committee in Austin, I gave my testimony. I only had 2 minutes. I can talk about this stuff all day long, but when it starts getting personal, of course, I got emotional. It took everything I had to get through. And I said, will I have a future here? Will I have to look at my grandmother and tell her that she cannot be buried by my grandfather? Will I have to move my grandfather? Will I have to move the rest of my family members? And where do I take them? Where do I go? Because most cemeteries are full. There's no place that I can take all of my family back from 1910 at my expense. Thank you. And bury them someplace else where we're all together. That's sacred.
Yeah.
That's sacred. And I also looked at them and I told them, I said, knowing what's right doesn't mean much unless you do what's right. And Marvin Nichols is not right. This is an outdated reservoir. They have alternatives. Dallas and Region C has alternatives. I don't have an alternative. And if they come knocking at your door here for mitigation land, you will have no alternative. You will have to leave. No ifs, ands, buts. I'm sorry. If there's no redos, they will come knock on your door and say, I'm sorry, but I've got to take your 150 acres in your home for a lake or a reservoir that I created 2 hours away from you. That's it. I can give you a prime example. Lake Bodart is a blueprint of what's going to happen.
Where is that?
It's over there by Bonner. So it's worth it all. They took mitigated land all the way in Wichita Falls. Those people had no clue. They got a knock on the door saying, I'm sorry, I've got to take your land and your home for a lake I created over here. And not only that, but insult to injury.
I don't get so.
Oh, it's better.
Yes.
Oh, I don't mind.
Okay, if they're building the lake here, but they're taking land far away, why are they?
Mitigation, the way mitigation works is whenever they have to condemn property for the greater good, you're going to grade that property. And so whenever that's why, and usually it's on a scale of 1 to 4. That's why for Marvin Nichols, they would be, this is bottomland hardwood timber. This is it's right. It's already. And so then they will decide to go throughout the state to find. So if they decide, they rate it and say, okay, we're going to go 2 to 1 or 3 to 1. They then send their team out and they go and find mitigated property. And the reason it's called mitigated is they are replacing property for the resource that they destroy in essence. And so in doing so, they are taking property wherever. They will try and find almost like for like property if they can, because that's the least amount they would have to do. If they can't, then they're going to go and they're going to say, okay, I'm going to take your property, and then it has to go out of production.
Okay, what you're saying then is when they build the reservoir after however many years, finding land that's the same as what the reservoir is going to be, regardless of where it is. So if they take, like you said, or they go anywhere in the state and find a piece of property that's bottomland timber, if they were taking
It doesn't, because you have to understand, we are losing bottomland hardwood timber. We're losing it. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be bottomland hardwood, but it has to be something that represents the value.
So
what did you
if they can't find lot for, then they will take acres and then plant trees on it to get credit for them.
They're usually under the mitigation or eminent domain.
Eminent domain is what they'll use for me to take my stuff because I'm not going to sell it. They're going to eminent domain. The exemption is federal.
Now, understand that eminent domain, rarely do you get to a point where property is actually eminent domain and condemned when the state comes in and actually pulls you off of it. Because most people finally say Cathro. Okay, now Susan's not going to do it, and I'm only trying to chain myself to a tree. But what I'm saying is that most people do not have the financial wherewithal to fight it. Yes. Well, that's a good question. There are two ways, like I said, legislatively. That's why you guys are leaders in your community. That's why we're here, and we so graciously thank you for lending us your ears, because you're the leaders. You're the ones that carry this message back. And it's going to be important to talk to the legislators, to start with Greg Abbott, to go to Dan Kendrick, to go to Senator Charles Perry. Let me tell you, water in this state is fixing to change so fast, it's going to make your head spin. And not all of it's going to be good.
Another thing, you guys can help stop it. So there was a bill that was introduced. It was called HB 2109. And JD actually put off with that bill. And what it said was that if a reservoir or a water project has been on any water board for 50 years or more, it had to be removed. Okay. Marvin Nichols was originally proposed in 1968. You got to think that was when Martin Luther King was assassinated. That's how long it's been. So any reservoir that had been on a water board for 50 years or more, that water bill, they hadn't got any permits on it or anything, they had to remove it all. Well, that's when I went to the Natural Resources Committee and I testified. Only one person opposed it, and his name was Romero. His last name was Representative Romero, and he was from Tarrant County. Everybody else was in favor, and they met with me afterwards, and I got a very well reception. I was thankful. Then it went to the calendar committee, and most people think that when it leaves the committee, when it goes to the calendar committee, you just schedule it. You get all these bills. I'm efficient. If I have all these things that need to be scheduled, I'm going to do it in the order it was received, and I'm going to schedule that stuff out. When it gets to the calendar committee, that's not how it works. It's pick and choose what bills get heard on that floor. And Representative Todd Hunter killed that bill. It did not make it to the floor to be heard. So then this just happened, was it yesterday? Yes, yesterday, Senate Bill 1261 was a bill that was talking about financing and stuff for water boards. And Representative Gary Van Dever wanted to do an amendment to that bill. He wanted to add basically what HB 2101 was to the water project was going forward 2 years and more. Well, they did their little debate and stuff and everything, and it went city versus rural. I encourage y'all, because it's on. If you leave here today, you can look it up, or you can also go to my Texas Landowners United page, and I want you to watch it. And it's very eye-opening because this is what we've been up against. Whenever the city gets up there from Dallas and Tarrant County, they're very arrogant. And all you heard was, I need this. We need this. This is for us. Don't take it all. It was me, I. Quality of our lives. Not the quality of mine. Not that the fact that they have alternatives and I have none. It was all about them. And I encourage all of you to watch it because that is what you're up against.
Well, it's important. It's important to also know right now Dallas Water Utilities owns 57.3% of Lake Palestine. They own 57.3% of Lake Palestine. They have already put the pipeline in. we're talking about a 108-inch pipeline. You can drive a pickup truck through it.
Wow.
What they will do with that is that water will be moved and they will go online with that. They expect to be online by at least 2027. They hope to be online next year. The pipeline in Palestine, Lake Palestine's complete. They're trying to finish up the rest of the pipeline that is actually between here and Richland Chambers. But people actually pipe that water from Lake Palestine to Richland Chambers and to Cedar Creek over there south of Dallas, because then it will go immediately into their treatment plant. So they're moving from reservoir to reservoir. And that's why I'm saying they want desperately to get the infrastructure here. And with all due respect, we need J.D., we need Cody Harris, we need Gary Van Dever, we need Cole Hefner, we need all of them. We need Brian Hughes, Senator Brian Hughes, we need all of them. That's where you can be effective. That's where you can get their ear. And I'll let her give you the website. But the most important thing is call them up, say, and that's why I've given you this information. Because in all due respect, J.D. had told me no, they're going away. That's a done deal. We won that fight. We didn't win it. We didn't win it.
So another thing that you can do to help, when I went to the Region C meeting, the Region C meeting, there were only 2 people that testified for Marvin Nichols that they wanted it. It was a guy in a suit and then a woman that just came up and sat down and said, "I'm for Marvin Nichols, thank you," and left. Everybody else, it was a packed room. Everybody else was there. They brought documentation. They were Johnny on the spot. And there were Dallas citizens there, Region C citizens, that were against it. They said, "We do not want it." They said, "Why are you saying we do conservation? I don't have any water restrictions. My neighbor waters her lawn all day and all night, and water goes down the street. We don't do water conservation. Why are you telling these people that we are when we're not?" So they were citizens that do not want this. So another thing is there's 2 things that's going on right now that I desperately need help, and it's not just for me, but it's for all of Texas, because you have to understand mitigation has teeth. Nobody is safe. And this is a big area, huge. Just think how big 300,000 acres up to 700,000 acres looks like. There will be no rural Texas. It will be gone. So till June 9th, the Texas State Water Board are opened up for comments. So I need everybody, just send an email, please, to www.twdb.texas.gov. That's it. Sorry. www.twd as in dog, B as in boy, .texas.gov. Go on there and send an email and tell them that you're for private property rights. You're for farmer and rancher rights. You're for saving people's home and families. You're for saving communities. You're for saving jobs. You're for saving schools. You're for saving ag. You're saving cemeteries. Whenever you have no alternative and they have alternatives, it's not balanced. Rural Texas matters. If it's not, Dallas and other metroplexes will not have the things they have in metroplexes if it wasn't for rural area. You don't get groceries just going to the store. They're produced somewhere, people. And it's in rural Texas and it's not on concrete. So that needs to be done ASAP.
Now, is Texas spelled out or is it TX?
It's spelled out.
Okay, it's spelled out. I'm going to leave you with one last thought. As far as Lake of the Pines, I'll let you get into that just a second. As far as Lake of the Pines, I want you to understand when they built Farrell's Dam, on Big Cypress. Big Cypress fed Caddo Lake. And there's a few places in Texas that are sacred. Alamo, Jacob's Well, Big Bend, South Padre. We putting Caddo Lake on this. And trust me, the health of Lake of the Pines determines the health of Caddo Lake. And so the most important thing you can do is speak, talk, make this a point of conversation with everybody you know, because this is the fight for generation. This is the fight.
I'm going to leave you with this. Our SREC committee woman, Christy Bentley, and our SREC committee man, Paul Hill, they have their annual meeting for the Republican Party of Texas, and they met on March 22nd of 2025, and they passed a resolution opposing the use of eminent domain for reservoirs and federal mitigation projects to solve water issues in the state of Texas. So when they did that, they submitted it to Abbott and Dan Patrick, urging them to talk to their legislative and get them on board with this, because this is what the people want. I have copies here if anybody wants anything. And I just want to agree with Shar here. My home is my everything. There's only two places that I want to go. After a hard day, I want to go home. And when I leave this world, I want to go home. Those are my homes. But I'm going to fight to protect my home. And I'm going to fight to protect my grandmother and my resting places and my job and my school. And I'm going to say the same thing that I did at the Natural Resources Committee. When you leave here today, knowing what's right don't mean much unless you do what's right. And I need people to do what's right and speak up and email these Texas Water Board and tell them to take Marvin Nichols off of the Region C water plant. It's not needed. Dallas's mismanagement and their leaky infrastructure that leaks 30 billion gallons of water a year, they need to fix it.
Yes, ma'am.
Not my problem.
I have a question. Since you're not doing anything like that up there in Dallas, isn't there some way that we could get something implemented within the state of Texas that it would, these big cities would have to do that conservation?
Yes, and that's where legislatively we had got to start pushing back. We had got to start pushing back. Now you understand, almost four Lake of the Pines would fit into Marvin Nichols. Almost four. This is not a proposed small reservoir, but Dallas is going to have to be pushed. Right now, they've got Ray Hubbard in Rockwall, the eastern part. They're full. As a matter of fact, there are 34 reservoirs in the Metroplex that are 5,000 surface acres or more. 34. Right now, almost every one of them are full. Now, let me take you around the rest of the state and show you how outdated some reservoirs can be. You go into the Austin area, south, the Golden Triangle between Austin and San Antonio. We've got Canyon Lake, 20% capacity. We've got Lake Corpus Christi, 8% capacity. We've got Medina Lake, 2% capacity. That is going through a drought so severe right now. My son lives right 8 miles north of Canyon Lake. Right now, he is allowed to use 500 gallons a month. If he goes over 500 gallons, he goes into a different pay rate category on his water. They are doing things like catchment, rainwater catchment. They are doing things like using gray water. We need to start asking our developers, guys, let's really think, how do we utilize every drop of water that we possibly can? You can't reutilize all gray water necessarily, but anything that comes out of your washing machine or, the shower or something like that, let's please to use that again. But the most important thing is to have a conversation. When we say that this will change us, it will change us. And I'm going to die out of it. My kids and my grandkids are. The fight I'm fighting right now is for them. It's the most precious fight I can possibly commit myself to. Yes, ma'am.
I think we'll be part of the solar group.
Yes.
Yes. We have this solar group that's what if there was right now.
Well, and the Sulphur River Basin is involved in this. They have not been able to now, and I have a particular map right here that's in with this. This is an area where they're proposing things. They not only they have Lake Rappaport is fixing to open up. It's in the Sulphur River. I don't know how many times you can dam the Sulphur River before you start really having a problem. And yes, they are going to have to look at 21st century answers to water. For having water. Don't. You have got to think out of the box. You have got to go into, yeah, Reverend Nichols is on a fault line. The Taco Mahia fault line. I mean, so there are a number of things that the Sulphur River, you have to do something to think out of the box. Now, understand quickly. Right now, right.
And Dallas is not an easy partner for water.
And you just named Tawakoni and Fort that are two of their reservoirs.
I mean, they almost own
Right.
what nice thing about it is just, track for us was taken.
Exactly.
Dallas is also not owned.
And they are not. They're
My judgment is how take a site is the authority to take the line. Because they were very.
They are. And actually, then it ends up coming down to the Texas Water Development Board. Now, in this instance, we filed contentious with Region D, which is we are. Dallas Metroplex is Region C. Region D, we just filed paperwork saying we are contesting you coming out of your region over into our region for water. Now, by contesting that, they're asking for public opinion now. But what's going to happen, because we contested it, we finally had to. If we didn't, they were going to build it anyway, but we contested it. So now it's going to come down to a 3-member panel with the Texas Water Development Board that is going to make this decision. 3 people going to make this decision. Right. Now, you did bring up an excellent point, the basins. And those are huge, and you know how big they are. And the sulfur is sitting right on the Red River. Then the sulfur, then it sits on top of our basin, the Cypress Creek. And the Cypress Creek Basin is, in essence, the smallest basin in Texas. So trust me, anything that happens in our basin, we're going to feel it. We're going to feel it. Lake of the Pines immediate runoff is Bob Sandy. And they're coming for water. They're wanting to, Dallas said they would buy Lone Star's water rights. Well, Lone Star's no good without their water rights. None. But then, so now they're saying, well, you want water from Bob Sandy, or we'll buy Monticello, or we want to raise the elevation right back in 5 feet because we'll take that one. Guys, they're insatiable. They need to go to rehab.
Okay, with that, we need to conclude. Questions? We do need to finish our meeting.
Yes, thank you so much.
They grabbed my agenda. Someone's got it. There it is.
So federal the government is just working on getting that big, beautiful bill passed. So let's all contact our representatives, let them know what we think. They need to support President Trump. On Monday, President Trump did sign the Take It Down Act. It will hold abusers accountable and empower victims of online abuse to have deep fake content or explicit material shared without their consent removed. And we can thank Senator Ted Cruz for that. He worked really hard to get that. Gate news is interesting. There's all kinds of things going on right now. Governor Abbott signed 3 important pieces of legislation recently. Texas Education Freedom Act, which is the vouchers. It establishes education savings accounts for eligible children to assist with school tuition, fees, textbooks, uniforms, etc. He also signed the Texas DOGE Act, which establishes the Texas Regulatory Efficiency Office. Its purpose is to make government more efficient, improve public transparency, and improve public access to information regarding state agency rules and regulations. So we'll see how that goes. Hope it works. SB 1194 was also signed recently into law, and this one does concern me, and it is in that packet of information that was given out to us today by our speaker. SB 1194, and I read this several times because I couldn't believe my eyes on some of this. SB 1194 establishes the Central Texas Water Alliance and grants it the power of eminent domain to assist Central Texas with its critical water needs. It creates an agency run by appointed bureaucrats who can, through the alliance, apply for, accept, receive gifts from anyone, and grants the directors governmental immunity for their actions in their capacity as directors and officers of the alliance. This is very scary. I wanted to see who voted for this and who was standing up for us. I'm happy to say that Brian Hughes stood up for us and he voted against it. Jay Dean and Cole Hefner voted for it. We need to contact our elected representatives, tell them how we feel, and then we need to hold their feet to the fire. We need to watch what they're doing and not always believe they're telling us. Sometimes they're just telling us things that we want to hear. Elections. Okay, so SJR 37 is a proposed amendment that did pass to be on the ballot this November. And it is a proposed amendment to the Texas Constitution clarifying that a voter must be a United States citizen. I thought that went without saying, but apparently we need to vote for this. We have a couple things that are on the calendar today in the House. We have the pro-life bill, SB 31, which is the Life of the Mother Act. It allows a physician to perform a legal abortion when the mother faces a life-threatening physical condition like maternal pregnancy. And it provides that the procedure is done in a manner that provides the best opportunity for the survival of the unborn child. There's a bill regarding the sexualization of kids, SB 12, bans DEI in public schools, requires parental consent for sex education, prohibits classroom discussions on sexual orientation and gender identity, requires parental permission for school-based mental health services, and penalizes school district retaliation against the parents or staff. That sounds like a pretty good bill. We might want to contact our people, let them know. Finally, SB 20 bans the possession or promotion of child porn, including AI-generated child porn. I've got a couple copies of this report. It has the names and numbers of our state elected representatives. I do urge you to contact them about all these issues because we have to band together. They're not looking out for us. So get involved, people.
Thank you, Sheila. Will also be in our newsletter if you don't get this piece of paper. So Sharon's got to leave, but I want Sharon Fowler to stand up. Sharon Fowler is on fire. She's on fire. She went to the Capitol. She went to get trained at ABC Leadership. She actually got us 45 or more vendors for our Veterans Appreciation event. What are you doing? Are you fighting, girl? Well, I got something for you. Fight, beer can. And it's full. You can let Dan drink it, but you get the can. You give a little, you get a lot. You get a full can of beer. Right along.
I want to recognize Gwen. Yeah, she has been, how many years have you been doing this, Gwen? The treasurer. She needs a break. Who knows stuff about accounting, kids and so forth. She has done such a great job. I want to give her a tip. It's $10 donations. Thank you. That's good.
Anyone in our membership can recognize another member. Do that. You know, we all need to feel valued, and I hope really feels valued with their faith feels they should. There you go. There you go. Okay, moving right along. We kind of jumped to membership recognition. What we're going to do now is just recognize we have. Let's see what we have. Okay, literacy chair, stand up. Marianne Verdeber and Sheila Youngberg. They are because we believe the servicemen and women who have served our country deserve more than just a day. We're trying to get them a month. They deserve at least a month of recognition. The Women of Gregg County will lead the way in making sure East Texas thanks veterans on behalf of a grateful nation. With that in mind, thank you to our local veterans on behalf of a grateful nation. I encourage each member to consider how to get involved. You know, we all have different talents and skills, and being part of a group working towards the goal of honoring our veterans makes a volunteer activity meaningful and enjoyable. Let me tell you a little bit about what is being planned. Sharon Fowler, as you just heard, has already gotten us over 40 vendors, organizations, and businesses that provide services for veterans who have committed to they've committed to having a booth at the event. Every vendor will pay for to be there. They will adopt a veteran and as a special guest, and we will have gifts for the veterans in addition to inform the veterans of the services they have to offer. Keynote speaker is a local veteran named Will Summers. Will is a retired Army sergeant who was, listen to this, who was in the first group of U.S. servicemen to respond to the 9/11 attack. Will was one of the first soldier Green Berets who went down into Afghanistan to take out some of the Taliban leaders who planned the 9/11 attack. Will's story is so inspiring. I hope you all will be there to hear it. The story of the four soldiers was made into a major motion picture entitled 12 Strong. You can watch it on Amazon, Netflix, Apple TV, or YouTube. Ladies, we can do this. We can do ladies, we can all do something to help, and we all need to do something to help. So we can make sure the event we host, which is our gift to our local veterans, is a wonderful and possible event. Making it wonderful for them, something that they'll remember and making memories. So we're Karen's back there. If you want to stay on hold, you can be there even. There's things you can do before. But we need our volunteers to actually get engaged with this event. This is a big event. It takes a lot of people to make this happen. You know, Mont is a big place, right? Yeah. But we're doing wonderful things. Karen, you have a statement?
Stuff with this whole room, 5 years ago.
Oh. Yeah. Nothing going on. That's right. That's right. All right, again. So with that in mind, I'll let you just read the bottom of the agenda. It's passed around on the table. There's classes and events that are happening, but come back in June, and you're going to have Americans for Prosperity talk about taxes and stuff. Quickly.
Eric spoke with the Vietnam veterans last week, and we went last night to the American Legion, and we included that poster out last week. And the leader last night, I forgot his name. He said, "Mine is on the refrigerator. I cannot."
So we got veterans. Yeah, they loved it last year. The comments were really good.
They are just
And we're going to make it special for them again. Yeah. Actually, was what Sharon has done, we now have our speaker paid for.
Ah,
And it wasn't cheap, okay? I tried to sponsor and I wanted them to be recognized. Sharon, stand up. This is the wife of Brad Clark, and she's part of Brad Clark. That's a team over there. And Brad put up, I'll just say, $2,500 of his own money to get that to him. So thank you, Sharon. And everyone who see Brad again, give him a big hug, okay? So that's all I got. Thank you for coming, and see you next time. But I'll see you in July. Bye bye. Meeting adjourned.